Picture this. It's 5:45, your alarm is buzzing. It's dark outside and the rain is hammering on the window. You know you've got intervals scheduled for today and your body is begging you to roll over, stay warm and forget about the ride. In moments like this, what gets you on the bike? Most riders think it's motivation. That feeling that inspires you when you watch the Tour de France. Motivation can feel powerful in the moment, but it's also unreliable. It's like the wind. Sometimes it pushes you forward and sometimes it disappears completely. What actually keeps you consistent week after week and year after year isn't motivation at all. It's discipline. Discipline is steady. It doesn't need the perfect conditions. It doesn't ask how you're feeling in the moment. Discipline is a quiet, unglamorous force that builds habits, develops fitness, and ultimately transforms your life. Today I'm going to break down why discipline beats motivation every time, how the science of habits proves it, and how you can train yourself to rely less on feelings and more on systems. Motivation has a PR problem. It's overrated. When people start cycling after years away, the first thing they say is, I just need to find the motivation. But motivation isn't the fuel that keeps the fire burning. It's just a spark. A 2014 study in health physiology tracked people who took up new exercise routines. At the start, motivation was the biggest predictor of whether people showed up. But after 6 months, motivation levels had no correlation on who was exercising. That's why we see the January gym effect. In January, gyms are packed with highly motivated people. By March, half of them are gone. The motivation evaporated. And without discipline, so did the routine. Motivation is also reactive. It depends on external factors. The weather is good, your friends text you for a ride, or you just watched a race on TV. The problem is obvious. When those triggers aren't there, neither is the motivation. Discipline is the opposite. It doesn't care about the conditions. It's proactive. It's saying, I ride because that's what I do. Period. Think of it a bit like brushing your teeth. You don't wake up and ask, am I motivated to brush my teeth today? You just do it because it's part of your identity and routine. Cycling can become like this. A famous 2009 study from Filippo Lally at UCL found that it takes, on average, 66 days to form habits for a behaviour to move from effortful to automatic. In other words, discipline in the short term eventually creates habits that no longer rely on willpower. That's why disciplined riders win long term. Once you've turned cycling into part of your life rhythm, you don't need motivation to ride. You just ride. I once coached a ride named Mark. He was enthusiastic, passionate, and always full of energy, when he was motivated. After watching Tour de France, he'd ride 6 days a week. He'd buy new kit, sign up for the races, and swear that this was his year. Then the motivation would fade, work would get busy, and the weather would turn, and Mark would stop. A few weeks later, he'd start again with the same burst of motivation. His Strava looked like a roller coaster. Mark wasn't lazy. He was trapped in the cycling motivation, and as a result, his fitness never truly progressed. Now, let's talk about Sarah. She had 2 kids, a demanding job, and very little free time. She wasn't bouncing with motivation every day, but she built systems. Her kit was laid out every night. Her training sessions were scheduled in her work calendar. She had a deal with her partner. She covered school runs on some days and then they covered the others. Sarah rarely felt motivated, but she rarely missed a session. And over the years, she improved more than Mark ever did. The difference? Sarah built discipline into her life. Discipline is more than a mindset. It's a measurable skill. A 2013 Journal of Personality Studies found that self-control predicted long-term success better than intelligence. That means that discipline can actually outpace talent. Another study in psychological science showed that people with strong self-control reported higher levels of happiness. Not because life was easier, but because discipline reduced chaos. Here's what that means to cyclists. Talent and motivation matter, but discipline wins in the long run. By building systems, you stop wasting energy negotiating with yourself. Psychologists call this decision fatigue. Every time you ask yourself, should I ride today? You drain your mental energy. Discipline removes that question. The decision has already been made. Make it easy. Prep your bike, bottles and kit the night before. Reduce friction. The easier it is to start, the more likely it is that you'll ride. Schedule it. If it's not in your calendar, then it doesn't exist. A 2011 study in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine found that people who scheduled their workouts were far more consistent. Shrink the goal. On rough days, commit to just 10 minutes. Often, once you start, you'll keep it going. Research confirms that action precedes motivation. Identity shift. Stop asking, do I feel like it? Instead say, I'm a cyclist, this is what I do. Habit stacking. Link your rides to an existing habit. Ride after dropping the kids off to school, or make Saturday rides a standing social ritual. Accountability. Tell a friend or coach your plan. External accountability massively increases follow-through. Motivation is short-term. Studies show that it spikes when setting goals, but fades quickly without reinforcement. Habits conserve energy. Psychological review research shows habits reduce decision fatigue by automating behaviour. Consistency wins. Sports medicine reviews show regular, moderate training outperforms sporadic, all-out efforts. So, if you want long-term gains, stop chasing motivation. Build discipline. I want to be brutally honest with you here. People sometimes assume that because I'm a coach, I wake up every morning buzzing with the motivation to ride. But that couldn't be further from the truth. I've had days where I've sat on the edge of my bed for up to 20 minutes staring at my shoes, debating whether to ride, listening to the rain outside. I've had evenings where the rain was hammering down and my legs felt heavy, and the thought of training made me just want to crawl up underneath covers. What saved me in those moments wasn't motivation. It was systems. My kit was there, already laid out. My bike was ready. My calendar had my training session in it. I didn't debate about it. The decision was already made. And what made it even better? My partner knew about it, so I was held accountable. That's what I coach my athletes on. Don't leave your success to your daily mood swings. Build a framework that can carry you forward. Here's the secret, which isn't a secret. The best athletes aren't the ones that are most motivated. They're the ones who have been the most consistent. Motivation is exciting and it feels good, but discipline is what transforms lives. Discipline is what allows a busy parent to keep riding when the time is scarce. Discipline is what allows a weekend warrior to keep progressing year after year. Discipline is what gets pros out training in the cold, wet, lonely roads when no one is watching. I'll give you an example. Once I worked with a rider training for a 300km endurance event. They weren't the strongest in the group, but they never missed a session. Others skipped training when motivation dipped, but this rider showed up every time. On event day, guess who had the stamina, the resilience and the mental toughness to finish? Not the motivated riders, the disciplined one. So, here's the takeaway, if it wasn't already obvious. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting to feel motivated. Your future self will thank you for the discipline that you built today. This week, I want you to put discipline into action. So your challenge, pick one system and commit for 7 days. Here are some options. Kit ready rule. Every night, lay out your kit, your shoes, your helmet and your bottles. Make riding frictionless. Calendar block. Choose 3 ride slots this week. Block them like important work meetings that can't be avoided. No excuses. Accountability partner. Message a friend and commit to a Saturday ride together. You won't bail when someone else is waiting. 10-minute rule. Commit to at least 10 minutes of cycling every day. Turbo, commute, spin, anything counts. Once you start, you're likely to go longer. At the end of the week, you look back and reflect. Did you ride more often? Did it feel easier to get started? Did you notice discipline taking over where motivation would have failed? That's how habits are built, one disciplined week at a time. Motivation is a spark. It's useful to get started, but it fades quickly. Discipline is the engine. It keeps running no matter what the conditions. You don't need to be the most motivated rider. You need to be the most disciplined. That's what will keep you riding when life gets messy, and when you're tired and when the weather is grim. So the next time you find yourself staring at the window at the rain, don't wait for you to feel motivated. Just remember, you don't need to want to ride. You just need to ride. And if you can build that kind of discipline, cycling just won't be part of something that you do. It'll be part of who you are.